All right, let's dive into a set of teachings that are, well, pretty out there, but also incredibly profound. We're talking about the world of Carlos Castaneda and the sorcerer Don Juan. Now, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. Think of it more like a practical guide for completely dismantling your reality. So get ready to question pretty much everything.
So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of it all. I want you to really think about this for a second. Is the world you see around you right now actually real? Or could it be something else?
According to Don Juan, this isn't just a fun little thought experiment. No, this is the core idea of what he calls sorcery. That solid, predictable world that you and I live in every day, it's not the only reality. It's just one version, one description that we've been taught since birth, out of a whole ocean of possibilities.
Think about it. From the moment we're born, we're handed a description of the world. We're told what's what, how things are supposed to work, what's possible, and more importantly, what's impossible. And then we spend our entire lives just looking for stuff that proves that description is true, and we call that reality.
So what's the glue that holds this whole description of reality together? Well, Don Juan says it's something we all do all day, every day. Our internal dialogue. You know that little voice in your head that just never, ever stops talking? He says that voice isn't just thinking. It's literally building and rebuilding your world, second by second, constantly telling you, yep, this is how things are.
Okay, so if our reality is just a story we tell ourselves, the big question is, how do you change the story? How do you break free? This is where Dom 1 introduces his answer, a totally new way of living he calls the path of the warrior. And just to be clear, we're not talking about fighting people. This is about a war against your own limitations, your own perception.
A warrior, in Don Juan's world, is a strategist. They live with this incredible precision and self-awareness. They're hunting for personal power, not power over other people, but the power to control themselves and to navigate the absolute mystery of being alive. Every move has to be perfect, because there's just no room for error. So what does a warrior's life actually look like? Well, it's built on some really key ideas. A warrior is always aware that they're going to die. Not in a dark way, but they use death as an advisor to get rid of all the petty, unimportant stuff. That awareness leads to detachment, to making smarter choices, and to taking total responsibility for everything you do. And it's all done with this amazing strategy Don Juan calls controlled folly. This quote really nails the idea of controlled folly. It's the art of acting as if your life and your choices are deeply important, even though you know that, in the grand scheme of things, nothing is more important than anything else. A warrior chooses a path and gives it their all, not because it's the right one, but because it's their choice. It means you can engage with life passionately without ever getting trapped by the drama.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This whole warrior thing sounds super abstract, right? But it's not just a philosophy. Don Juan provides a set of actual practical tools, techniques a warrior uses to literally shatter their normal perception of the world.
And there are three big ones. First, and this is the most important, is stopping the internal dialogue. That's the master key. Second is something called not doing. It just means breaking your habits on purpose. Anything to jolt yourself out of autopilot. And third is the art of dreaming. Learning to use your dreams as a literal doorway to other realities. And that first tool, it's everything. Silencing that inner voice is the absolute linchpin of this whole path. Because when you stop telling yourself how the world is, it stops being that way. The world as we know it just collapses. And that's when, as Don Juan says, these incredible hidden parts of ourselves can finally come out. And then you have dreaming. For a warrior, dreams aren't just these random movies that play in your head at night. Nope. They're a training ground, a whole other reality where you can learn to be in control, to find power, and to practice manipulating your own awareness in ways that would be totally impossible when you're awake. So what happens when a warrior starts to get good at these tools, at stopping the world and dreaming? Their entire understanding of reality begins to change. The world isn't just one single thing anymore. It splits, revealing its true nature. A reality with two very different sides. And these two sides are called the tonal and the nagual. The easiest way to think about it is this. The tonal is the small, familiar island that we live on. It's everything we know, everything we can name, our job, our thoughts, society, all of it.
The nagual, well, the nagual is the vast, mysterious, unknown ocean that surrounds that tiny island. It's the totality of everything, a place of pure power we barely even know exists. So the goal isn't to just abandon the tonal, to jump off the island of reason into the crazy ocean of the unknown. That would just be chaos. The true path of a warrior is to become a master of both, to keep your island tidy and organized while also learning how to sail the mysterious waters of the nagual. This whole journey of balancing the tonal and the nagual, of living like a warrior, it all leads to one final destination, a single ultimate transformation of consciousness. And this final goal, it's got nothing to do with your intellect. It's not about analyzing things or coming up with a clever theory. The end game for a warrior is to learn how to see. So, what is seeing? It's a kind of direct perception. It's experiencing the world as it is before your brain jumps in and starts putting labels and judgments on everything. It's the ability to perceive the universe not as a bunch of solid objects, but as what it really is, pure, flowing energy. Just imagine that for a second. When a warrior finally learns to see, the world we all take for granted just dissolves. Tables, chairs, people, the ground beneath your feet, they stop being solid things and you perceive them for what they truly are, shimmering, vibrant bundles of luminous energy. The whole solidness of the world is just an illusion created by our perception. But to get there, to achieve that kind of mind-blowing freedom, it all circles back to the very beginning. The fuel for this entire impossible journey is one simple, powerful truth: being keenly aware of your own death. It's the one thing that gives you the sobriety, the seriousness, and the urgency to walk such a difficult and strange path. So we end up right back where we started, but maybe with a bit of a different perspective. The teachings of Don Juan aren't really about what to believe. They're a challenge, a dare to take apart your own reality. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. What would you perceive if you could just for one moment stop the world?